So it's finally happening, everybody. Final Fantasy VII is getting a remake. Holy crap. Can you believe it? Well, rest in peace, Squaresoft. Now, I want this game to be good. Like, really good. What you're seeing here is an unmodified PC version on Steam. And I don't want them to, like, really overdo this. Like, I pretty much want this game to be the exact same as it is now. Just prettier. That's how I want it to be. I don't want them to mess with I don't want this stuff right here to be a cutscene. I want it to be just like this, I guess I'm one of those people, one of those guys that are like saying, oh, the original is better. Well, yes, this will always be here. Just, I want this looking prettier. Is that so much to ask? Basically, I think they should do what Capcom did in Resident Evil Remake. And, just do it right. Don't mess with the battle system. Don't screw with the plot. Make sure the world map is correct. There's a lot of funny nuances in this game, but I don't know how it's going to translate over to like Super HD if they make it like super serious. Because this is a fun and funny game that's loved by a lot of people. And I want them to retain that hilarious atmosphere. I mean, this battle system, for one thing, I don't want this to turn into like an action RPG game. I don't want this to turn into Final Fantasy 15 or Final Fantasy 13. I want this to be Final Fantasy 7. I think Square knows that. They know what they have to do with this game. And I think they're not gonna, I want to have faith that they're not going to like completely royally screw this up. I know they're going to have to fix some dialogue here and there. Will it be fully voiced? It probably will be. It's probably inevitable. But what will be voiced? Yeah, Carrot attack while its tail's up. It's going to counter with its laser. Yeah, sure, they can probably fix that. But at the same time, it's actually not really broken either. It just looks like it is the same. So it looks like it's saying, oh, you attack. It's like, it's something I remember a lot of people were saying, attack with its tail up. And people probably read that as wrong, and it's like, they attack with its tail up and get counterattacked. Of course, they probably fix it saying, you should cloud, because it's like, Barrett, be careful, if you attack with its tail, when its tail's up, it'll counterattack. And saying, attack while its tail up, it's basically saying, hey, attack while its tail up. I don't know. There's little nuances like that. I'm just nitpicky, but I just want this to remain like this. Don't mess with the materia system. Tweak it if you have to, but just don't screw it up. Battle system should remain turn-based just like this. There's nothing wrong with this. Just make it look pretty. Make it look pretty. That's all I can say. Don't turn every dialogue piece into a cutscene. Just don't do that. That'd be stupid. So look at that. That's Final Fantasy VII right there, man. I'm sure the battles will probably be 60 frames per second, which would be pretty nice. Instead of 15 frames per second, which this is. This game is locked 30 frames per second. And we got the menu and everything. I really like the materia system. I like how the equip system works. I just like how all that works. I just want them to keep that the same, not royally screwed over. Because it's not the Squaresoft of old anymore. It's Square Enix. And sometimes they can be pretty, full of themselves. This is a really ambitious project. I just want to see it done good. I want the game to be good. I'm glad it's not exclusive to PS4. They said play on PS4 first. Which is okay, I understand that. Because Final Fantasy VII was PlayStation first. and it came to PC later. And I just have a strong feeling that it will indeed come to PC, which would be great. Considering I don't own a PlayStation 4 and I can't really go out and buy one. I just want them to do this game justice, do what Capcom did in Resident Evil Remake, because that's a remake done right. You know what I mean? If you look at the original Resident Evil, then you play the remake that was on the GameCube, now re-released in HD, that's done right. The only thing Capcom really did was they did add more story, but they didn't detract from the story either. Lisa Trevor, the new edition enemy, you know, they give more backstory, but I'm sure they could probably link this up to Crisis Core a bit more. They probably could. I just don't want them to change it up too much. I just don't want this to be like cutscenes for like no other reason other than, you know, I don't want all this stuff to be cutscenes, cutscene. Because then it won't be like Final Fantasy VII anymore. I want these camera angles. I want these pre-rendered backgrounds. Or you probably don't even have to make them pre-rendered. You can make them full 3D, but keep the camera angle the same. Because it's still possible to do that. Keep the camera angle like this. Just make the same game. You don't have to have them pre-rendered. You can have them HD if you want. There's HD fully modeled backgrounds and such like that. Just keep the camera angle the same so you keep the same feel. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, I know, come on, as a kid growing up, you played Final Fantasy VII. What was that like for you? I'm curious. What the Final Fantasy VII mean to you when you grew up? Like, what kind of game was that? When I first played it, I played it on the PC. That's when I first found out about the game, because I didn't have a PlayStation back then. Back in the 90s, I played the PC demo, which took me to the Gold Saucer, and I was doing the battle thing. I told Mom, oh my gosh, this game is really fun. I want this game. And so we went to the store and we got the PC version, which I still have a box of. The box and everything. Here's like a picture of it. With the PC version of Final Fantasy VIII, you can see it right across your screen. And I'm proud to own this. I really am. And here I'm playing the Steam version. But I don't have the classic trapezoid box, which was there before. Which is like the original release. The original release was a trapezoid box. I had the Eidos Platinum Edition. See, things like this, it's going to be a cutscene right here, see? That's perfectly fine. I want to see cutscenes like this, but of course, you know, they're going to probably integrate the characters into the cutscene. They're probably going to rework the cutscene, maybe. I don't know what they're going to do with it. That's why I'm worried. And like this little scene right here coming up, like keep an eye on Wedge. Things like that, and that. See how are they gonna do that in HD? How are they gonna do things like that and make it funny still? Of course, you know Final Fantasy VII is known for the cross-dressing scene with Cloud. Well, it's not really known for it, but you know it's there if you played Final Fantasy VII. Now, what would that look like in HD with this new model? Oh, I'll show you a picture in a second. Like this stuff right here, I don't want this to be all full motion video. I want this to be just like this. Just, you know. I'm sorry, this game is just like so amazing. I just don't want them to mess it up. I want it to be a good game. I really, really do. The camera angles like this, everything. All the people running around. Talk to people like this. It's just, I want them to do it good. I want them to do it right. I don't want them to mess it up. I don't want any of that stuff. I want Final Fantasy VII to be Final Fantasy VII. I want it to be prettier. A prettier Final Fantasy VII. Listen to this soundtrack. Let's listen to this soundtrack. Listen to this. See, that music just draws you in, doesn't it? It's a magical game, and the game is really, it's just so magical. It draws you in. I don't want them to change up the story. I'm really excited that Final Fantasy VII is getting a remake. I really am. But I'm also, my heart says yes, but my brain says no, and I'm just like, ugh. This game meant a lot to me, and I'm happy that they're doing it, because I grew up playing this game on the PC first, not the PlayStation. I do own a digital copy on PSN as well, so I own the original in a sense. But the PC version is always the first version I played, so that one's a bit more special to me, I guess you could say. But the battle system, everything, the materia system, the world map, all that stuff, you know what I mean? I just want it to be good. I don't want them to change this. I don't want them to screw it up royally. I just don't want that. No. And as you notice, this PC version actually has the PlayStation soundtrack. This is not through mods. This is through Square themselves. Originally, when the PC version released, it didn't have the PlayStation version music. It had MIDIs, which made the music sound a lot different. I want this battle system to remain the same. This battle system is iconic for Final Fantasy VII, with the way the materia system works. It's just, of course, all Final Fantasies before it had turn-based battle systems, but this is Final Fantasy VII. If you change this into like an action RPG, it's just, people are gonna flip tables now. And needs to remain turn-based. Don't go action RPG route. Don't do any of that stuff, because you won't have Final Fantasy VII anymore. You'll just have a game with Final Fantasy VII's name. The battle system is core to Final Fantasy VII, I think, because it's the first time Final Fantasy has been seen in 3D. It's the first time the turn-based battle system has been seen in 3D. So it's kind of iconic in that way. It's the first 3D Final Fantasy VII It's the first turn-based Final Fantasy in 3D, and at the time it was mind-blowing, and it still is good gameplay. There's nothing wrong with selecting your commands. There's nothing wrong like picking how you want to attack. That's just fun. It's all around fun, and you know, there's a lot of strategy involved in how are you going to stay alive in your battles and things of that nature. There's so much you can do with Final Fantasy VII. I don't want this to be like a little cutscene here and there. I want the camera angles to be the same, but you can make this whole area 3D. You can just do that, and it'll be great. Make a cutscene like this, how it is. If there's gonna be full motion video, which of course there will be, just do it for the scenes that need it. Don't go overboard. You know what I mean? Don't go overboard. Don't go nuts. Don't go crazy. Just treat this game with tender love and care. That's all I'm saying. Is treat it with tender love and care. And hell, seeing Final Fantasy VII at 60 frames per second would be really nice. Honestly, it would. And I think they could do a really, really good job with this remake. I really do. I just, you know, none of this stuff I'm saying right here is script or anything. I'm just thinking about it, and I'm saying it. Because this game was meant a lot to a lot of people. And it's riding heavily on the nostalgia wave. So they have to do it right. And if they voice it, how are they gonna do it? How are they gonna voice? Are they gonna voice everything right here? how's it gonna work? How's all the little comedy gonna work? How is it gonna work? You get excited, but you got to sit there and think. What are they gonna do to the game? It's a remake from the ground up. But this game, while it can be serious, it can be really silly at times too. Again, like I said before, Cloud's cross-dressing scene, where he has a cross-dress to get the Don Corneo and get Aerith free, as well as Tifa. Everybody remembers that scene who played Final Fantasy VII. You put Cloud in a dress and it looks really awkward and funny. So, I was talking about that earlier, so here's a picture in front of your screen. Yeah. See, let that sit in your mind for a second and saying like, oh, okay, yeah, Cloud, HD Cloud, I'm a pretty girl. See, things like that, if they can pull it off, it'll still be hilarious. The walking animations and all that good stuff. I just want it to remain like this, you know? Just make it prettier, that's all I want to see. If you're gonna voice act it, only voice act key scenes, not the entire game. For a lot of people, this game probably changed their lives and the perspective on things, you know what I mean? The story is really rich and it's really great. The dialogue really gets you right in the feels, you know what I mean? I may be jumping the gun and overreacting because we haven't seen gameplay. All we saw was a little CGI trailer. That's all we've seen, you know what I mean? And I just want this to be the best remake it could possibly be. To follow what Capcom did with Resident Evil Remake. Do it just like that. And you could have a gorgeous Final Fantasy VII while staying core to the actual game. Keep the core features, keep the materia system, keep it turn-based. Keep the random battles in there, because this is Final Fantasy VII. Keep the world map, the golden saucer mini games, the chocobo racing. I am really excited about Final Fantasy VII Remake coming. I really am. I'm just really worried, that's all. I'm worried because I'm scared what they're gonna do to it. That's all, man. If it's not, if it's really not this, then it's not Final Fantasy VII anymore. You get attached to these characters, even these guys. Just listen to this music. Listen to this. See how magnificent this is? You see what I mean, guys? So, I want want you guys to tell me, what are your thoughts on the Final Fantasy VII Remake? How do you feel about it? Are you super excited? Are you worried? Like, what's your take on it? What do you want to see happen? I know the voice acting is inevitable, what's probably going to happen. But what are you looking for in a Final Fantasy VII Remake? Like, really? All the years we've talked about saying we want Final Fantasy VII remade, we want an HD Final Fantasy VII. Now we're getting it. But what are your expectations? What do you want to see? Like, realistic expectations. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what you think. What you want to see. I've expressed my thoughts in the only way I can right now. I'm still kind of taken aback by it. It's a thing, it's happening, it's real. So let me know in the comments below, guys, what you want to see, how you think it's going to work, and what you think they're going to do. That's all I can think of for now. So, thanks for watching, guys. You're all awesome, and I really hope this remake is good. So take care, everybody. Bye now.